Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review, episode number 39. Reviewing episode number 79 for the series, Win Those Kids' Hearts. Yeah, this one adapts pretty much the entirety of 164, 165, and kind of the first two pages of chapter 166. Those of you probably noticing, Nick, why aren't you your usual place to record? Well, there's a reason for that. My mom decided to shampoo my rug. Well, basically shampoo the carpet in my room today because she thought it smelled. So I'm here in the kitchen. For now, at least. But don't worry. I will be back in there, probably recording tomorrow, because I do have one more video I want to do today. Yep. Now, pretty much this episode is just this. Like, it picks up right where last week's episode left off, where you see Shudo and... I have to look up the guy's name. It's, because this... Usually this character name. It's, Hiroshi. Along with... Let's see. There's Cammy. Yeah, she's in the episode. Yep, it's the actual her, it's not Toga posing as her. As a matter of fact, they don't bring up the fact, now they do mention the episode that she was posed. Like, Toga posed as her during the licensing toward the end of the previous season for the show. This episode they do mention it per se, but she is completely oblivious to what happened. Apparently she was asleep for 4 days and she took a test. Simple as that. The episode starts off with Shudo and Yoshida basically just walking the hallway and basically discuss their favorite food. Like, what's your favorite food? Saba noodles, cold. And he says, I like mine hot. Like, okay. Interesting. Yeah, he gets along fine with Shudo, but he still hates Endeavor. Endeavor's in this episode along with All Might and President Mike, who basically becomes a commentator for this episode. Along with Meat Boy. Yep. And so, what is their job? Now, they do have some wording changes here. Yep. Now, in the manga, basically, well, we have Gang Orca comes in, and the way he talks is kind of weird. It's like he opens his mouth, but yet his nose does all the talking, which I'm thinking, that is particularly very weird. Why does he talk this way for? It's so weird. Maybe it's his quirk, because he's a freaking killer whale. Yeah. And pretty much, like, he calls the trainees poop, which my guess is that Funimation probably said, yeah, we're not having him call him poop. Fish bait. Call him fish, or at least like something related to fish, because he's a fish superhero. So why not use fish stuff? So use something that's using poop. Yeah. Yeah, first he basically talks to each of these people in order. First he talks to Bakudo, and then Shudo, and then Yosudi. And instead of saying, you're wrong, he says, well, actually, so like, failure. It's like, he says, you're wrong. And he says all three of these guys flying, which I thought was so hilarious. And you get, like, your actual thing today. Their job is to calm down a group of what looks like kindergartners. Yes, from elementary school. Okay, perfectly fine. And these kids are written to be kind of, well, maybe, from what I can tell, it's kind of like modern day, like, equivalent of how kids would act today. Very rowdy. And, of course, Bakudo, of course, off screen took off his big, humongous grenade gloves that he's known for wearing. Because it's kids. Even he knows not to basically wear these things. And there's sort of this boss kid there. Of course, they had to find the boss kid. Of course, we think it's this blonde hair kid. Don't know who this kid is at all. And Cammy's like, we got one of these kids. So she basically just takes a random little boy and shoves him in her chest. Because she can't go, she starts blushing. And then there's like three little girls. Now, there's a slight change here. Because in the manga, they're actually really close to her. In the anime, they're off a little distance, basically, with a spotlight on them. And her, basically, she's like, you know I'm here, right? Yeah, they do this twice in the episode, which, that was actually a fine change. I don't mind that visual change at all. And first they try simply talking to them. And, well, mostly it's the same. And, like, Bakudo wants to fight them. It's like, okay, then we'll show off our quirks. Okay. And of course, the episode ends basically with the kids taking out their quirks. Oh yeah, and these kids act like they're pure evil. Yeah, there's this minor thing they actually add here to the anime when they first bring them out. They're all basically like surrounded by some evil ore with red eyes. My guess is it's probably this particular kid who's basically dressed like a kid's version of a suit. That might be him doing it. Who knows? But this was actually a pretty fun little episode for the series. And next week will be the end of this particular arc. Because, well, like in the manga, this was really short. The manga itself, basically, for this particular arc, it's only 6 chapters. And I kind of predicted, basically, when this arc was going to be adapted for the anime, it would take about 2 or 3 episodes. And I was proven to be correct, because basically this arc gets wrapped up with next week's episode, with the next episode, episode 80, and 81 beginning the school festival, which that was announced prior to the season starting that we're going to adapt the arc. I was kind of worried they might skip over the Remodel Chorus arc, but no, they didn't skip over it. They actually did it, which is quite surprising. And my guess is the reason why I decided to do it now, because, well, it kind of sets up basically what happens later on at the start of the third and most recent arc of the series. Yeah. But not much else to say about this brand spanking new episode. And even though, yes, the anime itself, the English dub, is currently 2 episodes behind. Now, twice now they've taken a week off since they brought the series back. The first time was back a couple months ago. Reason? It was the holidays. So that makes sense. Why they did it recently, just prior to the start of this particular story arc, bugs me. Of like, why the heck did this happened about a couple weeks ago where they actually skipped a week. Why they skipped a week for, I have no idea. Maybe they wanted a week off. It's possible, but who knows? Yeah, but not much to say about this episode, but can't wait for next week, which will be the 80th episode of the anime. Okay, so that's it for this particular review. I have one more review I'm hoping to do today, a review of the next 8 episodes for Inuyasha. Okay, see you next view. Bye.